All right, so today we are going deep, deep into the life and times of, well, Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, everyone knows the name, everyone knows the CU, everyone's seen at least one of those highlight reels. It's just absolutely insane goals.
Oh, absolutely. He is I mean, almost like a myth, right? But we're gonna go beyond that, beyond just the goals, the trophies, the CU.
Exactly. We want to kind of get to the heart of what makes Cristiano Ronaldo tick, and that's where this new documentary comes in. It's called Ronaldo Legacy, and
It's fantastic. It's really well
yeah,
done.
it's not just like a by the numbers, here are his stats
Hmm.
kind of documentary. You get these little glimpses of his personal life that are just so raw and really give you a feel for what it was like. I mean, did you know he grew up sharing a room with his siblings in this tiny house? I mean, they said it had a tin roof.
Oh yeah. It's worlds away from what we see today, right? With the
Oh.
mansions and a car collection that is probably bigger than some small country's GDP. But that contrast is what's so powerful about his story.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. And it wasn't just poverty, right? His father struggled with alcoholism. His mother was working all the time just to keep the family going.
Really just kind of sets the stage for I mean, it's got to shape who you are, those kinds of early experiences. It's like it forged his determination. They actually draw this really interesting parallel in the documentary between him leaving home at 12 to join Sporting CP's academy and then later on moving to Manchester United.
Oh, yeah. I mean, both times, leaving everything he knows behind, right, to chase this dream, this massive dream. Could you imagine the pressure? I mean, each time he had to prove himself all over again.
Constantly proving himself. And that thing continues even once he gets to Manchester United. In those early days, he got a lot of criticism, all those flashy moves and people saying he was showboating, not taking it seriously.
Yeah. And it's interesting, the way they framed it in the documentary. It wasn't that he lacked talent or dedication. It was almost like he had to refine it, to channel all that raw talent into something more precise, more
Hmm.
lethal.
Exactly. And that's where Sir Alex Ferguson enters the picture, right? I mean, almost like a guiding hand, shaving this young, raw talent into the machine we know today. They even include that great quote from Ferguson. He says about Ronaldo, he had the arrogance of a king.
I love that quote.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah.
that controlled arrogance, right? Almost like it fueled him to be better, to constantly improve.
Exactly. They even show these clips of Roy Keane, laying down the law with Ronaldo,
Yeah.
giving him some tough love.
Oh, wow. Tough love from Roy Keane.
And he just thrived on it. It's like he used every bit of doubt, every criticism as motivation to work even harder.
And the results, well, they speak for themselves. I mean, 2006, 2007 season was a real turning point.
Mm.
Think about it. The World Cup incident with Roney, so much pressure, so much backlash. And he comes back and scores 23 goals that season.
Yeah, you could see it. He was turning into the Ronaldo we know now. That player who can shut out all the noise and just deliver, especially on the biggest stages.
Yeah. It's remarkable. And it doesn't stop there. I mean, this documentary, it's packed with these iconic moments. That 40-yard screamer against Porto, the game-winning penalty in the Champions League final, the iconic shirt-ripping celebration in the 2014 final, and of course, who could forget that bicycle kick against Juventus in 2018? It's like
Absolutely incredible.
each one of those moments, just a testament to his physical abilities, but also his mental toughness, right?
Yeah. It's like he feeds off of the pressure, brings out his absolute best. Do you think that's something he's born with, or do you think it's cultivated?
It's got to be both, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the talent, that's undeniable. The athleticism, that's there. But then you add in his work ethic, his insane dedication. That's what elevates him. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the documentary goes into his training regime. It's rigorous, it's almost obsessive, and his diet, it's all planned to the last calorie. They even show him talking about it. He says, I work hard to enjoy life with no regrets.
It's amazing. It's like he's found this balance between indulging and still having this laser focus, this commitment.
And that balance is key. It's about enjoying the rewards of that hard work, but never losing sight of those bigger goals.
Such an important message, especially today, right? When everything's about instant gratification, he's showing us that to really achieve something, to be fulfilled, it takes that constant effort, that dedication. But, I have to say, it's probably a little easier to be disciplined when you're living in a mansion and you have your personal chef and a team of trainers at your beck and call.
That's a fair point. But the documentary does a really good job of reminding us that behind all the glitz and the glamour, Ronaldo is still human. I mean, he has those same emotions, those same vulnerabilities that we all have.
Yeah. There are some really touching scenes with his partner, Georgina Rodriguez, and his kids. You can see how much family means to him. that joy he finds in those quiet moments away from the spotlight.
And those moments are so important, It's like they ground him, they remind him what truly matters, and they don't shy away from the hard stuff either. They address the loss of his newborn son in 2022. It's really heartbreaking, but it shows how he and Georgina navigated that grief together.
I was really moved by that part. It was a powerful reminder that even those who seem invincible,
Yeah.
right, they still face those same struggles, those same heartaches that we all go through.
Absolutely. And to see how he handled it with grace and strength, I think it really speaks to his character. It humanizes him in a way that all the goals and trophies just can't.
It shows us there's a real person there, behind the image, behind the celebrations and the lifestyle.
And that brings us to another side of Ronaldo that I think often gets overshadowed, by all the football and the extravagance, his philanthropy.
Ronaldo Legacy does a good job of highlighting this.
Hmm.
The donations to charities, funding a cancer center for a fan's child, all the aid he sent to Madeira during COVID. I mean, those are some serious contributions.
They really are. And it challenges that perception, right? That he's just this self-absorbed superstar focused on himself and his wealth. It shows a different side, a compassionate side, someone who wants to give back.
It makes you think. I mean, what drives someone who has already achieved so much to keep pushing, keep striving in all these different areas of his life?
Well, maybe it's that same drive that took him from those humble beginnings in Madeira to the top of the football world. That hunger, that refusal to be complacent, to just settle. It's like he wants to leave a mark, make a real impact.
It's inspiring.
It is. And it brings us back to his move to Al Nassr. I think a lot of people still don't understand it. Why would he go to a league that many see as a step down, especially at this point in his career?
Yeah. I mean, he's already won everything.
Right. But the documentary delves into his reasons. They actually show him saying, I'm here to grow football. And it seems like he means it. He's committed to that goal.
To expand the sport's reach, bring in new fans, raise the level of competition in a region that's often overlooked.
Exactly. And on top of all that, he's still breaking records. At 38, he became the first player to score 850 career goals. He's defying age, defying expectations.
It's really incredible to see. It shows us that it's never too late to chase new challenges, to rewrite the rules. And it's not just about him, right? He's using his influence to make a real difference on a global scale.
And that's what makes Ronaldo Legacy so captivating. It's not just a highlight reel. It's a nuanced look at a complex figure. It explores his motivations, his struggles, and his drive to push boundaries.
It reminds us that even those who seem larger than life, they're still human. They have those same desires for connection, for success, for fulfillment, just like us.
And as we move into the next part of our deep dive, we're going to explore how Ronaldo's story connects with people all over the world and what his legacy might ultimately be. So, it's interesting how the documentary presents his, lavish lifestyle, right? It's not just, oh, look at all this stuff. It actually ties it back to that drive we were talking about.
You mean that relentless pursuit of excellence?
Exactly, like his car collection. I mean, they show him driving around in Dubai with this Bugatti Chiron, a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, and like a whole fleet of Ferraris.
Yeah.
But it's not just about showing off, right? It's more like these cars represent the best of the best, right? Engineering, design, performance, qualities that he embodies, in his own life.
Yeah, like he surrounds himself with things that reflect his values, his ambitions.
Right. And it's not just the price tag, it's what they represent. And that goes for his fitness regime, too. I mean, they go into detail about it, and it's wild. Cryotherapy, these intense 3-hour workouts, and his diet is planned down to the calorie. He has a personal chef making 6, micro meals a day,
Yeah.
all designed to optimize his performance.
It's mind-blowing. I mean, I think most people would crack under that level of discipline, but for him, it's like it fuels him. They even have this clip of him saying, I work hard to enjoy life with no regrets. It's pretty
Yes,
powerful.
it is. He's striking that balance, enjoying the fruits of his labor, but never losing sight of the goals.
It's a really great message, especially nowadays, instant gratification and all that. He's showing that real satisfaction comes from hard work, from dedication. But I gotta say, it's got to be easier to stay disciplined when you're living in a mansion with a personal chef.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. But I think
Yeah.
the documentary does a good job of reminding us that beyond all that, beyond the opulence, he's still a person. He has real feelings. He's vulnerable, just like the rest of us.
Yeah. There are these really sweet scenes with his partner, Georgina, and his kids. You can just tell how much family means to him. Those simple moments, away from all the pressure and the spotlight.
Right. Those moments are so grounding for him. They remind him what's really important. And, they don't shy away from the tough times either. They talk about the loss of his newborn son. It's so sad, but it shows how he and Georgina dealt with that grief together.
Yeah, that part really got to me. It was just a reminder that even those who seem, invincible, they still face loss, heartache. We all do.
Absolutely. And the way he dealt with it, so much strength, so much grace. It really says a lot about him, humanizes him in a way that all the awards and achievements can't.
Yeah. It shows us that there's a real person there, behind the image, behind all the flash.
And it leads into this other side of Ronaldo that I think often gets overlooked. Amidst all the football and the extravagant lifestyle, his philanthropy.
Yeah, they actually do a good job of highlighting that in the documentary. All his charitable donations, funding that cancer center for a fan's child, the aid he sent to Madeira during COVID, is pretty remarkable.
It is, and it really challenges that image, right?
Yeah.
That he's just this self-centered superstar focused on himself and his money. It shows us there's more to it, this compassion, this desire to give back.
It really makes you wonder, what keeps him going? What drives someone who has already accomplished so much to keep pushing, keep striving in all these different areas of his life?
Maybe it's that same drive that got him from those humble beginnings in Madeira to the top of the football world, that inner fire, that refusal to settle, to become complacent. He wants to make a difference, leave his mark.
It's truly inspiring.
It is. And it brings us back to his move to Al Nassr. I think a lot of people are still scratching their heads about it. Why would he choose to go to a league that many see as a step down, especially at this stage in his career?
Yeah. I mean, what else is there left to win? He's done it all.
Exactly. But the documentary gives us some insights into his thinking. They actually show him saying, I'm here to grow football. And it seems like he's genuinely committed to that mission.
You mean expanding the sport's reach, bringing in new fans, raising the level of competition in a region that often gets overlooked?
Exactly. And on top of all that, he's still breaking records. I mean, at 38 years old, he became the first player ever to score 850 career goals. It's insane.
It's pretty incredible. Like, he's rewriting the rules, showing us that it's never too late to take on new challenges. And it's not just about personal ambition either, right? It's about using his influence to make a real impact globally.
And that's what I find so compelling about Ronaldo's legacy. It goes beyond just the highlight reel. It gives us a glimpse into the man behind the icon, explores his motivations, his struggles, his unwavering commitment to pushing the limits.
It reminds us that even those who seem larger than life are still human at the end of the day. They have the same basic desires for connection, for success, for fulfillment, just like us.
And as we head into the final part of our deep dive, we're going to look at how Ronaldo's story resonates with people around the world and what his legacy will ultimately be.
It's amazing how they capture that in the film, like his global appeal. It's not just for football fans. It's like anyone who has ever had a dream, and especially those who have faced a lot of obstacles.
Yeah.
Chasing something that seems impossible.
Yeah, and what really got me was there's this part where they show all these kids, like all over the world, and they're all doing the CUU. They're wearing the CR7 jerseys, and they're all talking about how he inspires them.
Yeah.
It's not just fandom. It's like he's a symbol of, perseverance, of ambition.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. It shows that role models don't have to be perfect. It's okay to be flawed, to be complex.
Right.
As long as you're striving for something,
Right.
You're achieving great things.
Exactly. And maybe that's even more powerful for young people to see. It's like, being great isn't about being perfect. It's about working with what you have, embracing your flaws even.
Yeah, and Ronaldo legacy really emphasizes that it's not a solo journey.
Right.
They show how important his relationships have been with his teammates, with coaches, with his family. He didn't reach the top all on his own.
Right. It really drives home that message that surrounding yourself with the right people,
Yeah.
people who support you, who push you, who challenge you. It's so important. It's a good lesson for anyone, no matter what you're doing in life. We all need that support system, to celebrate those wins and to help us get back up when we fall.
Absolutely. And speaking of wins, I mean, we can't talk about Ronaldo without talking about, his accomplishments on the field. 5 Ballon d'Ors,
Right.
over 850 goals, tons of trophies, individual awards. I mean, his name's in the history books.
Yeah, they really showcase how he's changed the game. Physically, what he's able to do, it's pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible. He's shattered records, and I think he's really inspired a whole generation of players to reach that level of excellence.
But it's interesting, right? Because his legacy extends beyond just football.
Hmm.
We've talked about his CR7 brand, the philanthropic work, even his move to Saudi Arabia, to grow the sport globally. It's like he's using his influence to spread these messages of hope, of perseverance, of social responsibility.
It really makes you wonder, like, what will people remember him for 50 years from now? Will it be the goals, the trophies, or will it be the impact he's had on people's lives, off the field?
I think that's a great question. And it's a legacy that's still being written. But I think it's clear that he's aiming for something more meaningful, something deeper than just individual achievements,
Mm.
you know?
And I think that brings us to this last quote from Ronaldo Legacy, a quote from Ronaldo himself that really stuck with me. He says, "Your love makes me strong. Your hate makes me unstoppable."
Oh, wow.
I mean, just think about that mindset, It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like he takes all of it, the good and the bad, and uses it as fuel.
Exactly.
Like, really inspiring.
It is. And I think it's a fitting way to end our deep dive. Ronaldo's story, it's all about growth. It's about pushing limits. It's about exceeding expectations.
Yeah, it reminds us all that greatness, it's not a destination, it's a journey.
Yeah.
It's about always trying to be better, to overcome obstacles, and to use what you have to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. And that's a message that goes way beyond football, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
It's something we can all learn from, to find our own potential, to build a legacy that goes beyond ourselves.